we're going to be removing all the fittings and fixtures off the triple tree, which is this thing here.
On5.com.
The risers will be sitting in there like that, one there and one over here. The bars will be going through, and obviously this will be going on top. In order to fit that, those triple trees, I'm going to have to drill holes. Okay, as you can see now, I've stripped the clip-on bars and all of the controls off, and it appears to be a bit of a jumble of controls and whatnot down here, which isn't really a big concern. All my screws have been placed back in the fittings so they don't get lost. The next job will be to remove this triple tree and drill my holes. Okay, so now we've got the triple tree, which is this thing, off the headstock, which is that thing. I've placed it where I know there's enough room for a nut to move on the bottom. If I'd moved this back any further, I wouldn't be able to get a nut on the bottom. So you've got to make sure that the clearance on the bottom is sufficient for your fixings. Now, in order to mark that hole there for drilling, I don't want to move this at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sand a little bit of chalk over the hole. It will fall in, then I'll remove this carefully, which will leave my ring of chalk. Then I'll go around my ring with a pencil as to mark exactly where I want it. I know it sounds long-winded, but it's the only way I can get a mark on the inside of that hole right down the bottom onto this material here. Right, so I have my my mark over here. What I need to do now is find the matching spot over here, and it needs to be fairly exact. I'm going to need 3 spots on here to use my compass in order to find where the spot is. So what I've done is I've selected this spot here, and I'm going to need a third one over here somewhere. So the way that we have to find center is, or the way I'm going to use to find center, is I'm going to put a flat object across this point here. I'm going to use another square, and I'm going to run the square along here until it lines up with this point down here. Okay, so I'm going to run that along. I've found my center here, hold that in place, and I'm going to mark. Okay, so now I've got 3 points in order to get some intersecting arcs. So what I'm going to do here is measure from my drill hole to my first point. I'll move it over here like so, and I'm going to make an arc like that. Then I'm going to go to my second point, which is here. I'm going to get that distance. I'm going to move over to the corresponding the other side. I'm going to make an arc here, and there's a line right on that there. That's my third point. Get the center there, swing it round, and make another arc. Now, I'm no engineer, but it's just basic maths, and if you don't have one of these, they're about $2 or $3. Go and get one, because they're bloody handy. So I'm going to mark my other spot, which is there. So those should be exactly the same. Okay, those are my holes for drilling. So the holes are drilled. What I now have to do is check the bolt depth to make sure that when I turn the handlebars it doesn't hit the frame. I'm not sure if you can pick that up, but the the bolt is significantly longer than it needs to be. Alright, as you can see, we've got the triple tree back on, the bars are mounted. So forward controls and start putting the bike back together. So we've got the bars on, we've got all the controls on. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't connected up the front brakes. I'm still waiting on a second brake line. The mirrors have come off. I had the mirrors on there, I think you'll remember, and I'm going to go for some bar end mirrors, so they're coming with the other brake line. So we're at the end of our bar conversion job, and I'm really happy with the way things have turned out. As you can see, I've got the new bar end mirrors on, which I think are really cool. You can get little ones that come out, they're like a little disc. Don't really like them too much. These ones I really like. They're just a bit more formed. Excuse me. You can obviously have the mirror in this way, or you can flip it over and have it around there, or even you could have it underneath if you really wanted to. I quite like it there. Obviously you've got the new hand grips on, the new straight bars. I've mounted the cell phone holder. Yeah, it's turned out really well, and the parts that I've got from Norm at Storm & Bikes have all been supplied at an extremely reasonable price, and I'll definitely be going back to see Norm. I've also removed the bar where the old mirrors came off, so it's lowered the whole front profile of the bike, or the indicators I got from Norm as well. I've moved the switch for the fan to there because previously it was up here, and now with the bars being moved, I've got nowhere to put it, so that's where it is now. I've also put the charging adapter here. Once again, that was riveted to the front of the bars. I don't want it there anymore, so I've moved that. The new brake lines, the 2 brake lines instead of the one old brake line that went down to a splitter box down here, and then went to obviously the 2 sides. So now I've got 2, the left and the right.